Hello there guys, it's Ebird Online again, and I'm back with another review from Before the 90 Days. This is Season 4, Episode 4, Baby Be Mine. And today we'll be covering Big Ed and Rose, and new couple, David and Lana. If you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to press the like button if you like what you hear. So first we're going to talk about the new couple, David and Lana. And unfortunately, I think we have another shyster in our midst. So David's 60, he's from Las Vegas, and is about to retire. He's dating a Ukrainian girl, and Lana's 27. And I have to say guys, Lana is absolutely beautiful, and I think David looks alright for 60. He's maintained himself quite well, and when we first see David, he's looking for a motorhome. So we see him looking at different RVs and so on, and he goes to a showroom and he walks in and he said, wow, this is like a luxury apartment. It's true, it's kind of like Barbie's luxury apartment. Everything's in miniature. And he says he's got so many places he wants to visit and he's going to be travelling all the time. In order to pay for this RV, he says he wants to sell all the old junk in his garage. And we see him poking around. It's a load of old tut. And I just think to myself, is that old rubbish going to mount up to £200,000? I sincerely doubt it. But there's one thing he won't be selling, he tells us, and that's his collection of unicycles. Okay, David, okay. And he demonstrates to us all how he rides his unicycle. And at this point I start to think, David's a little bit of a fuddy-duddy weirdo. But you never know, Lana might want a fuddy-duddy weirdo. But there's more. He then drops a bombshell. David wants to live full-time in the RV. What? And I fear for David that this ill-conceived plan will lead to the bombshell dropping him. And I very, very much doubt that this 27-year-old Ukrainian, who really does look like she's just fallen out of the pages of Playboy, is going to want to spend the rest of her days on a trailer park with 60-year-old David riding round on his unicycle. I just can't picture it. I'm finding it exceedingly difficult to believe. So how did Lana and David meet? Well, apparently they met on a Ukrainian dating site. Anastasia! Oh, Anastasia! And David claims that Lana aggressively pursued him to start off with, but then after about a month of chatting, he said, are we boyfriend and girlfriend? And she said, yeah. They can only talk through this website because unfortunately, Lana speaks no English. So they've been allegedly dating for 7 years. And during that 7 years, she hasn't learned to speak English and they can only talk through this site. David's tried to get her over to Google Translate or something else. But when he does, Lana gets really, really angry. And then he says, because she's so shy, she doesn't want to communicate in any other way. It's the only way that she feels comfortable. And he tells us that he's spent more than £100,000 on the website. And he doesn't feel bad about this because he would have been taking her out on dates anyway. David, when you take somebody on dates, you have fun. You have drinks, you have food, maybe you'll go to the theatre, perhaps you'll go to the opera, you go on holiday, you lay on the beach, you ski down the mountain. You do not sit at home with a laptop on your knee and claim that that's any sort of reasonable trade for going out on dates. And I just wondered to myself at this point, I wonder what cut Lana gets of this £100,000. And next time we see David, he's meeting up with his friends Dave and Victoria. He tells them he's going to the Ukraine, and both of them go, oh Dave, not again, but this girl doesn't show up. And then he explains that he's attempted to meet her 3 times and every single time she hasn't shown up, so he's gone all the way to the Ukraine on 3 different occasions for her not to show. Why didn't she show, I hear you ask? Well, the first time, she was just getting ready to pick him up from the airport, and when she looked around for her car keys, she realised that the dog had eaten them, and so she was busy trying to hitchhike to the vet. And the second time she was supposed to meet him, she was on the way, and she was unfortunately arrested as a result of mistaken identity. They thought she was Maria. And then the third time she was supposed to meet Dave, well, she explained that she woke up in a good mood and she just didn't want to ruin it. Dave, wake up and smell the coffee. This girl's a scammer. And both Dave and Victoria look at David with a look of scornful resignation. And I feel that they've trod this hallowed path many, many times. And David explains, I'm attracted to her and I'm not ready to give up on love. You don't know her like I do. And then he said to Victoria, you know what it's like. You were one of those girls once. And it turns out that Victoria too is Ukrainian and she met her husband David 25 years ago. But Victoria does not like this comparison, and as well she shouldn't. She said, I was just doing online dating. I put my name into a computer and I had to pay for it, and then I just spoke to the guys normally. Lana is a gold digger. Lana is a hunter. And the last time we see David for this week, he's online in a cafe talking to Lana, and they're going back and forth saying, are you looking forward to seeing me? Yeah, I can't wait. Are you ready? Yeah, I'm almost ready. I'm almost ready to come up with another excuse as to why I'm not going to meet your sorry ass. Although if he tells her about the RV, I don't mind her pulling out. I know I would. But there is just one problem. She tells him she can't remember where she saves the train ticket from the capital to Odessa where she lives. How very convenient. David, I would not worry about that one bit. Just go anyway and buy your own train ticket. I feel like David needs to go one last time so he can realise this trick's never going to meet me. Let me just move on. And as he's chatting to her, he explains to us that they sometimes have sexy chats. But he explains that also video chats are way more expensive and too expensive for him. And then David calls his friend, another Ukrainian, Anya. And it seems to me that David's got an awful lot of Ukrainian women in his life. It's very strange. It's not as if the Ukraine's a massive country, but David appears to be wallowing in Ukrainians. He actually dated Anya years ago, but it turned out she was too shy for him. And oh, wait a minute. Too shy for him? Didn't Lana say that she was really shy? That doesn't bode well. But anyway, he said that she was too shy for him, and they're now just very good friends. But Anya is side-eyeing the life out of Lana. And she says this girl never meets you. You're being scammed. So basically, he has 2 Ukrainians and about 2 million viewers from 90 Day Fiance all saying you're being scammed, and you still don't believe it. And at the end of the segment, he tells producers he's 99.9% sure that she's going to be there. Dave, I'm 99.99% sure that she's going to be there. In fact, I'm 100% sure that she's going to be there. She's just not going to bother meeting you. So what do we think of this guy? It seems like producers are reeling out another Anastasia scam. Although I've got a feeling because of what happened last time with Caesar, we will actually get to see this girl this time. But how's it going to work? Now, it's fair to say that I don't know too much about motorhomes, but I did watch 8 Mile, and Eminem really did not make it seem like it was any fun at all. But I'm just going to ask this question. What percentage of this £100,000 do you think that Lana gets? And how many other guys do you think Lana's talking to? Answers on a postcard. And next up, we're going to talk about Rose and Big Ed. And as we know from last week, Ed has just arrived in Manila. And I just want to say, Ed, you have my permission to rename yourself as Generous Ed, as opposed to Big Ed. And as the weeks go by, it's becoming abundantly clear to me that Ed is a rather duplicitous and disingenuous individual. So they book into a hotel in Manila, and Ed's saying Rose has never stayed anywhere so beautiful. And Rose does say she finds it very elegant, and she says she feels like a princess and that she's quite nervous. And so Ed starts out quite well by booking a room with 2 beds. I mean, he could have booked separate rooms for the first night, but it's a gesture at least. And when they get into the room, Ed says he wants to take it slow. And he says he really wants to be respectful to Rose. But then he goes on to add that before they do anything, he wants Rose to take an STD test. So it's not about Rose then, it's all about you and your sexual health and sexual safety. And whilst I don't actually mind it, just be upfront. Don't try and paint yourself all the time as the good guy. You're doing all of this for you. And as they're sitting in the room talking, Ed says Rose doesn't sound excited to be spending time with him. Ed, that's because she's not. She's obviously nervous. You're 30 or 40 years older than her. And he says get changed into your pyjamas. And she doesn't have anything with her, which was pretty obvious because she's carrying with her just a very small purse. He knew very well she didn't have any pyjamas. And so he gives her a shirt to sleep in, and it was a very awkward scene in the room. Ed was kind of bumbling around, and she didn't know what was expected of her. And so unsurprisingly, as soon as she got into bed, she managed to fall to sleep. In fact, she managed to fall to sleep even before she got into bed. But of course, Ed pretends not to catch that. And the next day, Generous Ed says he wants to take her shopping. So remember guys, this was his idea and not hers. He said he wants to spend one-on-one time with her and get to know her properly before going up north to meet the rest of her family. And so they went to the market, and Ed says, I want to get you some pyjamas. And they look around the different stalls, and they find pyjamas they like, and Rose asks, how much are these? 180 pesos it turns out, and that's about $3.54. And Ed opened his wallet and sort of put the wallet in between him and Rose. And remember, this is a very busy market and it's really hot, and Ed sort of didn't go to take money out of his wallet himself, and so of course Rose flicked through all the different notes, took out 200 pesos and handed it to the vendor. And Ed said, you can't just grab from my wallet. And it did seem a little bit rude, but also Ed seemed like a fish out of water, as if he couldn't be bothered to open up the wallet and work out the value of notes and pass to the vendor himself. And when Rose handed over the money, she said, keep the change. And Ed was absolutely apoplectic with rage. And guys, he acted like a little child. He just flipped out. This is not right. You're just grabbing my wallet and you're telling people they can keep the change. Ed, it's 20 pesos, which is about 39 cents. And then Rose says to Ed, let's look for something for you. Let's buy you a flowery shirt. And Ed said, okay, fine. And they look around. And again, when it comes time to pay, Rose took the money from his wallet again. But again, he put the wallet in between he and Rose. He should have just had the wallet to one side and taken out the 480 pesos, I think it was, for the shirt and handed to the vendor himself. Let's not forget, it wasn't something for her. She wasn't walking around demanding, I want this, I want that. It was something for Ed. But Ed flipped out again and he started saying, I'm hot, I'm sweating. I just want to go home. I hate it here. And I think he's sweating because he's watching money go out of his wallet. And Ed said, I have questions about Rose. I'm really worried about this whole thing. Maybe it could be a scam. Oh, Ed, come on. You know, Rose knows, I know, and everybody watching knows that you are trading money and an opportunity in America for Rose's youth and Rose's looks. You would never have a hope in hell with somebody who looks like Rose in the United States. Be real. If you take money out of the equation, what is it that you're offering Rose? It's not as if she's absolutely trying to rinse you. She's spent $3.50. And I think today, Ed has really shown his true colours. He was moaning about money, but really, Ed should have taken charge of the situation. Once she'd done it once, he should have said to her quite firmly, please don't take money from my wallet. I want to actually sort out all the money if I'm paying. And he should have just taken the wallet out himself, taken charge, taken the money and given it to the vendor. Then it would be up to him if the vendor was keeping the change or not. If Rose was really on the rinse, they would have been shopping at some nice mall in the middle of Manila, somewhere expensive. But no, they weren't. If Rose was really trying to grab loads of money from him right now, she wouldn't have said, let's look for something for you, Ed. There is an exchange in this relationship, and Ed is trying to pretend to us, the viewer, that he's not aware of this exchange. He thinks this is a love connection. And so guys, tell me what you think about Ed. He told us earlier that he feels bad for not bringing pyjamas. But Ed, here's what you really should feel bad about. Exploiting a girl so young. Exploiting a girl so poor. Stopping Rose from having a family by having a vasectomy. And then trying to pretend that it's love and that he really likes her. When really he's just obsessed by her looks and her youth and her beauty. And by the fact that she's betrothed to him because she has so few options and is so poor. That is what you should be feeling bad for, Ed. So guys, let me know what you think Ed should feel bad for. And do you think that it's irritating that he paints himself as the good guy all the time? I want to be respectful, but really he's worried about STDs. I want to treat Rose like a queen. And I think later, guys, I'll put in a call to Queen Elizabeth II. She's on lockdown, so I think she'll be free. And I'm going to find out from her, when was the last time that she went shopping for pyjamas on a market stall? And I think we all know the answer to that, don't we? Never. Ed, your good guy act is wearing extremely thin. So let me know what you think in comments down below. I'm going to get the final video for this week out later on today, and then we're going to start on this week's videos. Please guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you've yet to do so, and please don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Ebird99. You've been listening to Ebird Online. Ciao for now.